Friday morning. Welcome to the Couch Surfer event, everybody. Thanks for showing up. We really appreciate it. What a great crowd. Really cool. We feel like we just came off our big holiday party on Friday, the Practice New Year's Eve party. We had a band do the B-52's first album. And we had a great event, and we love everybody's support, and it was such a great crowd, so we're just riding a little bit of great momentum right now, I feel. But the other thing, too, is I'm really happy, despite the fact that we're all a little tired, maybe a little hungover, that we're having this event tonight, because the music's going to occur, and it's going to get rock lobster out of my head. These guys are great. Thomas's legacy here at Radio Boise is great. It's secure. I kind of feel like we're at the Neurolux about to see Danny in the Deep Blue Sea. The intimate setting. And then Heidi, of course, adapted a play that was broadcast during our radiothon in late October, and it's called Cloud Melt. It's up on SoundCloud. I highly suggest you check it out and listen to it. It's a great piece of work. So we'll let Christian do the particulars of the
quick
introductions.
particular at least, but yeah, thanks for showing up.
Thank you.
By the way, Wayne and Jess, a round of applause for our all the Radio Boise folks, but it was a very fun affair up there at the Gym Center for sure. And I went back home and listened to some old B-52s that night, and it has been stuck in my head as well. So this will be unless you guys are going to do some B-52s, this will be a good departure perhaps. But maybe.
Bob's going to sing it.
Yeah, okay. Planning on it. So I just want to say thank you. We could talk about next month's event at the end of tonight, but I want to focus on these folks first. So Matthew Cameron Clark, a friend and wonderful dude I've known for many, many years. You borrowed a chair from my vintage clothing store for your first production. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
One of the first.
One of the first, yeah. 99.
Right around.
Back in the 1900s.
It does seem like that at times. I'm just going to do a quick introduction of him, and this, of course, thanks to Deborah and everybody out here who's like selling the food and the beer and the wine and raising some money for a great, awesome, community project like this. So, anyway, Matthew Cameron Clark is a writer, actor, director, and seventh-generation Idahoan. He founded Boise Contemporary. This is true?
Woo,
Yeah,
true.
woo, okay. Boise Contemporary Theater, where he served as artistic director for 23 years. He has co-written 4 plays with Dwayne Blackall, A Nighttime Survival Guide, The Uncanny Valley, Narwhal, Unicorn of the Sea, and Rabbit Moon, his new company, which I would love to hear about. I don't know if we will tonight, but sometime soon. City of Trees Productions is currently in multiple creative projects, has all these things going, got 2 films, a new play, a graphic novel, and a podcast. He is a recipient of Boise Mayor's Award in Excellence in the Arts, and the Idaho Commission on the Arts also been a big supporter of your work, and cheers, thank you so much.
Thanks.
And Matthew will give you the rest.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks for having me. Well, this is a treat for me because I was invited to be here as a sort of curious fan to help us into a conversation about 2 of my favorite people. There are a lot of artists in this world. I've been very fortunate to meet many of the artists in this community of Boise, but it's not an exaggeration or something that I've come up with just to intro this event to say that these are really 2 of my very favorite people in Boise. They are, interpreters of art, but creators, storytellers, funny and kind. And so Heidi and Thomas are, they're 2 of the best. There are people that are really good at what they do, but you probably wouldn't ever want to have a cup of coffee with them. Artists you can admire from a distance. Right? I admire their work from over here. These are 2 you want to actually have that cup of coffee. They're friends, and they each have Way with Words, and the fact that they are friends of each other. Did you get? There's a tone shift there in the use of the that they're engaged. I just found that out tonight. How did I not know that? Is fantastic to me because they really are glorious, big-hearted people who each have a way with words that is. I'm so excited because it means there are collaborations happening that we're gonna hear about, and I just am happy to be here to be able to celebrate two phenomenal people and lead a conversation about, digging in to learn a little bit more about what they do, what they make. So we'll have all night to do that. We have a list, a very strict schedule for tonight that we're not going to follow, but we will refer to at various points. So Heidi Kraay and Thomas Paul are here, and Thomas has also brought some other guests. So
this is Bob Nagel on the bass. Just around the bass, that's Eric DeWitt on keys and saxophone. They rock. Pretty much rock.
So Heidi is a writer who and we're going to get to hear various forms of writing from her. Thomas is a writer and a musician and a composer, and we're going to get to hear some different forms from him. But we'll dig into more of those things later. Let's get to some music, shall we?
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.
What an introduction. Thank you. It's good to be here at. Where is this? I told you to write it down. In 2005, this reminds me of. In 2005, I was a very frustrated bartender and restaurant manager, and I'm like, this is killing me. I got to get out of this business. I'll do music. That's it. I'll do some music. But then I was like, I can't do music because I am petrified of a room full of people staring at me while I hold a guitar. And then I thought, wait, I know. I'll throw a party and I'll get a keg and then I'll play for people. And it was actually a lot like this, a room like this in a house that has since been destroyed over by Winco. But yeah, I bribed everybody with beer, and I played at my own birthday party because I'm a total coward. And then I was like, well, if I can do that, I could probably get it together to go down to the Culture Clutch or something. And now here we are, and you're stuck with me, Bob.
That's right.
All right, here we go.
Let's do
This one's off our newest album. Thanks again for that wonderful introduction. I especially like the part where you said that I'm all right with words, because I'm about to play a bunch of instrumental music and forget the lyrics to the other songs. So apologies in advance.
I love it.
Thank you.
So you've played with a lot of different people,
Yeah.
different combinations of people.
Yeah.
How does that happen? What do you think about when you're gathering a group of people to make some music?
Who haven't I angered yet? And who's available? No, we get along pretty well. I think the three of us, we're sort of between drummers. We're auditioning drummers at this point, but putting together a group, I don't know. I like to hear an instrument that different than guitar, so like a cello or a saxophone is always fun. Do you have a saxophone with you, young man?
I do.
Wonderful. Maybe we'll hear some of that. Yeah, just kind of whoever's available. Yeah. But like this, we couldn't, even if we had a drummer in the band right now, we couldn't really haul a drummer in
Sure.
here. Actually, I changed my mind. Let's get a drummer.
We can take out a few rows.
Yeah.
Be good.
And drummers, I mean, it's not just the drums, but then you have to spend most of your day managing the drummer. So, I'm sorry to say. All right, I take it back. Some of my best friends are drummers, in spite of me.
At that first concert birthday party,
Yeah.
was it just you?
Just me, yeah. And I played like 80% covers and was probably shaking vigorously the whole time in spite of my drunkenness, but it turned out okay, and I was able to get it together to wheel myself over to the Culture Clutch a couple of months later
Nice.
and start trying to play out more. So actually, and I also used karaoke a bit
Backing track.
to help not at those shows, but to help battle stage fright.
Oh.
Because I'm like, just go sing karaoke, because it's like, it's just for fun. It's all fun. And then I was able to kind of use that idea to do like we just did, like a song like that. So,
Right.
yeah.
So was the guitar your first instrument? Or did you play something?
Technically piano, but guitar was the first one that I got excited about when I was 11 or 12, and I was going to be in Def Leppard, so that was pretty cool.
Just that time.
Yeah, 1989 or so. Yeah, that was a funny time for guitar rock.
So, apart from Def Leppard, what were the like second tier inspirations for young Thomas?
You guys ever heard of Metallica?
I can hear the influence.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There was always music around at home, so that was cool. But
What about that first musical memory?
Fleetwood Mac Rumors. I remember hearing that before I remember a lot of things or people or places. Gordon Lightfoot. All the hits, really.
I love that. So do you remember, so piano technically was
Yeah,
first, and was that a like
5, 6, I was just like
parents
walking
saying
up
this
to
is,
it.
yeah, or you just walk?
Yeah, I was just like walking
you were
up
drawn
to it, plinking stuff out, and then I guess we had HBO or something. I remember watching Conan the Destroyer, not the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer, and then walking up to the piano and going, oh, that theme song goes, doo, doo, doo,
Mm-hmm.
doo, 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 doo. And Grandma's like, well, that is how the song goes. We should probably get him a book or something. So, and then I read that book, and then that was that. That was it. I was hooked.
How many great
Hooray for
musical
music.
careers started with Conan the Destroyer?
Probably about one half of one. Yeah. It's a pretty entertaining film, so check it out.
So where'd you grow up, Thomas?
Idaho Falls.
Idaho Falls.
and then moved here after high school.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been here longer than I ever lived there or anywhere. I feel like Boise's home now.
Yeah.
So
My mom's from Idaho Falls, so we're probably related.
probably. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. No, it's good. It's good to meet you, cousin.
Not really. You go far enough back.
Yeah,
Their
really.
family trees have extra branches.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, stacking the deck with extra branches on the family tree is a tradition in some parts of the Mountain West.
Uh-huh. That's good. So how did you meet this lovely artist over here?
I was a frustrated bartender,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and I was kind of fed up with most customers, but I thought, hey, that person's nice. You're nice.
Where did you tend bar? I don't remember that.
A few around. I can't tell you because of a court order.
Right.
Yeah, I think we met in 2007,
Uh-huh.
and became
January.
friends, and then I worked on your play,
Yeah, Me and My
Me
Shadow.
and My Shadow,
Uh-huh.
a couple years after that, maybe.
Yeah, it was 2012, but close.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
that's a couple years.
Yeah.
5 years.
We worked together a little bit for your endeavors.
Yeah. No, we were good friends,
Mm-hmm.
and then one thing leads to another.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Next thing you know, I'm putting out an instrumental album, and you're reading poetry over it at
Uh-huh.
the radio.
Uh-huh. Here we are.
That's gonna
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's actually
Yeah.
gonna happen. But Heidi's not a drummer.
Yet.
Right?
Please don't.
I can't count, it's okay.
I've heard you count. You count well. Yeah. It's not the counting that I mind. I walk around counting things. 6, 7, 8, etc. I won't go into it now, but it's the losing all control of yourself and your life that I don't think you would like being
Yeah, I
a
don't want to
drummer.
do that again.
Yeah, exactly. We all know. But I love drummers. I'm sorry. Can we stop the tape? Can we rewind this? The thing about drummers is I'm just jealous of your power. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
So, thank you, drummers.
Yes.
Um,
So at the writer end, at this other end of the couch here
Yeah.
with Heidi, I'm curious about, because I'm pretty excited about the Arnold Schwarzenegger beginnings of
Yeah.
your musical career, and I'm curious where Heidi started, like when you started thinking about being a writer.
Yeah. I mean, I have memories of elementary school with this one teacher, Mrs. O'Leary, saying, hey, she's a really good writer. And I said, that's what I want to be. And I don't know why that moment I came out with that, but I was pretty sure about 11, 12.
Nice.
And I started going out with a lot of bad poetry, like a lot of people do, and recording things as I saw them, and then recording, high school breakdowns, and going from there to see other things that
Yeah.
were more interesting to me.
So poetry.
Mm-hmm. Short stories, a
Uh-huh.
lot. Yeah. And I didn't write or look at. I never thought I would get into playwriting or theater in general, because my sister, who's a bit the oldest of us, that was her passion since she was born. She was an actor since she was born. And so that was her thing. So I was going to be the writer to do that, but then we both fell into that. And I think in a playwriting class in college, I learned how hard that medium was, and just the structure and how different it was from fiction and from poetry. You can't just do whatever you want, and I'm with anything, there's always a structure that one finds later on, but in that freeing moment, it was like everything is possible. And in the structure of writing a play, it seemed like nothing was possible. And I think that how hard that was something that felt really addicting to me. I love things that are really hard, and I had to go back and back again and again to keep figuring it out, and I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I think sometimes about writing and for different audiences and writing for the theater, like songwriting is to be read aloud. It's not like writing a novel where you're sort of in the head of your reader. You're giving words to the mouths of actors to then be experienced by an audience.
Yeah.
How is that for you when you're turning things over to somebody else? Because Thomas is, as a songwriter, composer, you're writing for yourself and you're bringing in collaborators, and then it's you at the mic with the guitar in the front, usually. Playwriting can be quite different, right? Because you're handing it over and letting somebody else turn it into what they see.
Yeah.
Which is different than writing a poem that you're either gonna read yourself or share. How's that experience been for you? Because there's a little bit of risk in that.
Yeah, it is. I think it's one of my favorite parts of it.
Yeah?
Especially in the rehearsal room and in as people are starting to apply their voices for it, either for the first time or seeing it worked out on stage, and being able to I think I do like to have that control, and then being able to let that go is a really beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And then seeing them manifest in a different way is really lovely. Sometimes it can get challenging to if I'm like trying to stick with one word, or like one word is really important, so allowing some more, I don't know, Zen generosity or something like that, and saying it's just one word is not the whole play, is a good practice for me. And getting a bunch of smart people in the room is such a delay, because they know so much more about they can teach me so much more about each character than I ever would have seen or thought of, as like it's such a human relational art, that without a bunch of people working on it together and hearing their takes and their questions on it, I feel like it would be so much more one-sided, and that feels much less interesting to me. And like thinking about origins and remembering like me as a kid too, one of my favorite things to do, getting a group of friends together, was like playing all of the imagination games that people play, right?
Sure.
And just creating these elaborate like storylines that everyone would be playing out as different characters, whether it was animals or X-Men or something like that. And I feel like there's some sourcing of that too.
That sounds like playwriting
Yeah,
to
in a
me.
way,
From
yeah.
I know
Yeah, I
very
guess so.
little about it, but very little. Is it kind of for you? Is it like maybe a composer who writes a symphony?
Yeah, I
He
think
can
it's a lot like that.
come to some rehearsals and give notes, but ultimately it's kind of the conductor who dictates the. I don't know how that works either. But
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, in playwriting versus like screenwriting, there's a lot more love of the writing and the writer in the room, and that is a lot more valued than maybe in a TV situation or in a filming situation, where so much of what someone writes is just can be gone in a day. Yeah. Or overwritten by a producer or something. And there's some really great things about that Uber Cup like collaboration with hundreds and more people in a room. But with just thinking about things that the Dramatists Guild have done for bringing playwrights together, and composers too, about really caring about what those things are and how those live on, that makes that breathe easier.
Thomas, have you written for other people? Have you ever written a song like with another performer in mind?
No, I mean I'm curious about it. I've stumbled into a bar or a restaurant and heard someone performing something that I wrote. Like that was strange feeling, but
What's that story? What was the?
just I think that the performer saw me and thought, oh well, I like this song by that person, I'll play it, and then they played it and it was like pretty good, but like weird, just so weird that I. Is that how that goes? I mean, is that what that song sounds like? And then I was like, maybe I should if I send all songs to other performers to play, and then I'll just sit and listen and go, oh, maybe I like that more or less than I thought I did, or something. It's just weird to hear it from outside of it, because normally I hear it from right here.
Right, yeah.
Instead of, so it was a very bizarre feeling. And then, of course, my royalty check came in from ASCAP, and I was quit my job the next day. It was awesome. No, I haven't, technically, no.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about that. Or, I mean, I think when you're 25 or even 28 or something and you're wanting to get started, you're like, you're going to win the rock and roll lottery, or you're going to get discovered or something. But now I would totally sell a song. Or if somebody said, hey, we want to commission, would you write this song for this thing for X dollars or whatever? Sure, I'll do that. That sounds fun. I'm up for whatever. So, if y'all got a movie and you need like a poppin' 80s style soundtrack or something, take my card, please.
Heidi, let's share some words from you.
Yeah, you got it.
See in the Dark is what's on our list. Tell us about it.
This is my latest full-length play. It's one I was writing this summer and have been working on since, and it's set in Alaska, in Juneau mostly, but it's a future Juneau where all of the glaciers have melted, and people are adjusting to a world that has the magnetic fields have been rotating, changing for years upon years, and everyone is feeling that effect. So people are living in a more or less distant future that feels like the distant past. Yeah, and then this is the first scene from that starts in, this one is the one scene that's in British Columbia, or what used to be that, and some things start happening.
Okay.
Yeah. It is dark. With the darkness comes a terrible wind and noise, like crunching metal and hot breath. Then comes the sound of dying, of brutal killing, of a whole mass of people getting wiped out. The sound of a gnashing, howling, starving beast that wants only destruction and won't stop until all life is sucked from this place. This place we can't see. This place beyond us and far away, and how can we even connect to these deaths we can't see? This agonizing sound continues long, too long, until we wonder what else there might be. Until we wonder if this is the only sound we have heard our whole lives. And then silence. The silence stings us, empty and full of loss. On top of the silence, soft, dry sounds. The breeze, leaves brushing against branches, a creek's water bubbling somewhere. It is from these soft sounds of life continuing on in tiny ways that the light returns. Slow, but not too slow. The light of a summer dawn up north where deep night is a lingering dusk between sunset and rise. In the faint light, growing steadily stronger, we spot Oni, 12, lying face down. She is unconscious, but wakes with the dawn. There is nothing around her, nothing we can see. Oni starts to rise, then jerks up, watching the space around her as though she just woke from a nightmare and is looking for the source of her terror. She doesn't know where she is and looks around like a kid who spent the night somewhere new and wakes in darkness, unsure whose bed she's sleeping in. She picks herself up and takes in her surroundings as though seeing them for the first time. She listens to the dawn, to something beckoning from far away. She lets her body point in a new direction, almost of its own will. Like following a compass, she makes her way into the woods beyond, as though in a magnetized trance. We don't know they're woods yet. We still don't know where we are. That's okay. As Oni enters the woods, the jacket she's wearing falls off her shoulders to the ground. After Oni leaves, the light grows. The small sounds grow, little songbirds wake, furry creatures rustle and chatter, hoary marmot, Arctic ground squirrel, pika, and then a larger rustling. Out of a hiding place, Everett, 10, sneaks over to find if the coast is clear. He crouches the ground and freezes. He waits, he listens. When he's satisfied that he's safe for now, he stands to full height. He looks around, not as though he'd just left a nightmare, but seeing one just beginning. Everything looks different. He quakes. Mom? Silence, except for morning sounds. Everett sniffs around. Mom? Everett looks all over the space for some sign, some way to find his mom, his home, his world that no longer exists. He tries to smell out life on his search, but comes up empty. Everything is empty. Everything that used to have a life and meaning is gone. He takes in this emptiness. Mom! The world around him is enormous and daunting, his focus on everything that looms larger than him. A rustling crack behind him in the woods. Everett pulls a hunting knife from his belt loop and holds it ready. He listens. He holds his breath. Then, Oni? Oni, is that you? Come on out. I just want to talk to you. Are you there? There's no answer, except for the birds. I just want to know you're okay. Everett listens to the silent forest music. He notices a footprint. He finds Oni's jacket. He picks it up. He smells it. He smells the air. It's okay, Oni. You stay right there. I'll find you. He puts on Oni's jacket. He finds a backpack, puts anything that might be useful inside. He sniffs the air once again. He follows her tracks into the woods. Lights.
So like the first 2/3 of that is stage direction, which means those are words that wouldn't be heard by the audience, right? It's like it's just telling the team of people who are going to figure out how to tell this story. Here's what it feels like, looks like. Figure that out. That's fantastic.
Oh, thanks, Matt.
So it's interesting because I thought, oh, is this a narrator that's taking us into this whole thing? No, this is just Heidi setting the table. The play, which is great, and there's a lot of playwrights approach that stuff differently. Some write almost no stage directions. Some, you're sad that they don't get to be shared with the audience. Sarah Rule is a great playwright whose stage directions are just as delicious as the words that are actually spoken. But that's super interesting to me because you get to set up. I mean, you're giving a lot to directors and actors and designers. It's exciting to me.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I think Sam Hunter gave me some advice once. If you want them to do it, then write it down.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that before I don't want to tell them how to do things. I don't want to control that. I want them to. But then I actually did.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then there's of course room for interpretation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where does that all lead? Fantastic. So, where did this come from? Like, what's the where was there a character? Is there an image? Is the circumstances you were talking about earlier and just sort of setting us up? What was the seed of this?
Yeah, I mean the original seed is pretty far back in I don't know, early high school days, and I would have this recurring for the whole play. So the seed of that, maybe not for this scene. I would have a recurring dream. And I had it for a while where I was this girl. I was probably a little younger than I was when I was dreaming this. And I was moving from town to town. And I was a Navy brat, so I did that anyway.
Sure.
But in this dream, it was different because I was just alone. And as I was moving this town to town, I would meet people and I would get to know all of them, and we would be really close, and I would do everything I could to meet everybody and help everybody and be really close to everybody and change their lives for the better. And as soon as I had made all of these really great relationships, this shadow beast came out from me and devoured everybody that I had just become close with. And then I picked up and I moved on to the next town, and the same thing would happen again. So that was the original seed for all of this play. But that is also like connected with things that are happening in the big world right now. So I like to what's the personal thing and what's the global thing, whether it's climate change or there's a lot of this play that's about like how we deal with outsiders, and do we deal with them in a suspicious way or a compassionate way, and how do we welcome people in, and what are our next steps in surviving.
Wow. I was trying to describe to somebody recently you and your work and what I know of it, and was stuck in this place between like this kind of overpowering darkness and this like intimate empathy. And it's super interesting. Just in that, you can hear this, a care for the world, but also this undeniable presence of big, dark, scary, powerful things.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like I'm really interested in both of those things a lot.
Very cool.
Yeah.
This very important list of schedule of events talks about songs from plays.
Is that where we are?
That's my segue, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been working on that all day.
We have some songs from some plays.
Songs from plays, go.
Yeah.
Give us context.
Yeah, how did these happen?
How did these happen?
Yeah, so these are two different plays that I've written, and then for this first one, this one is called The Goodbye Song, and it's from a play called How to Hide Your Monster, and this is one that was a triumvirate of collaborators on this particular song, where I had the lyrics, and then our friend and talented everything, Jamie Nebeker, helped me, who was directing the first readings of that. She helped with the melody, the original melody, and then Thomas took that and orchestrated that.
Well,
I
she gave it this jaunty little melody, and it was easy for me to kind of come in afterwards and hear what some chords might be underneath it. So we came out with the three of us came out with this. I don't know. It's just a delight. It's just a little delight.
Can you help us, because
absolutely.
It's a fantastic play.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit about the backdrop here?
So we're hearing a song from the character Savannah, and throughout this play, she's been with her family trying to save the day, essentially, throughout this whole play, and at the same time, she's got her girlfriend at home, and she's wanting to say I'm sorry, I guess, for cutting out and for having to leave the country soon. And she's been working on this song that at the end of the play, it's still not completely written, which I like that there's still stuff that could be done to it, but she uses this play instead as a way to reconnect with her sister after a lot has happened between them. She sings a song to her sister after her sister's grandfather has just died, and a lot of other things.
And what is her career? She is
a performance artist.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can call it a career, but.
Yeah, with a bit of perhaps a YouTube.
Yeah, she's great. She's got a big YouTube following, social network. She's been trying to raise money to go to Africa and help a lot of people there through art.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
When I was trying to come up with the chords for this, I tried to watch some big ukulele YouTube accounts. There's people that just set up their computer and play a song on ukulele, and it's 3 million views or something. And so I was kind of trying to match that with that field. So
yeah, she would be playing a ukulele
mm-hmm.
usually.
Yeah, imagine a ukulele.
to write you a sappy song, 'cause I can't say it. I wanted to write you a letter, but I can't mail it. Not because I don't love you or forever feels wrong, but I have to say goodbye, dear, and it's just too hard to play. Not because I don't love you or forever feels wrong. But I have to go away to find where I left me, when I left me behind. I'm somewhere out there, and it's time I find my mind, dear. So all I can say is goodbye, goodbye, and remember your ocean eyes, your blanket arms, to live there forever. But that's not how life always works, ever works, ever. All I can say is goodbye.
I love that. Hearing you together is super fun. That's cool. Nice work. Good job.
Thank you.
I have a format question for timing. Is the 55 a hard line thing, or can we be
Like you
flexy
said.
a little bit? Yeah.
Don't follow the rules.
All right. Yeah, perfect. I'm excited about hearing this poem that I just refer to it as mix is the way I refer to this poem, because the title has some other words in it.
Yeah.
But I'd like to hear that next if we
Yeah,
could.
great. So this is called Mix of Mix-Ups, Mixing Up an Oral Collision. Exhibit A, They Too. Multiple the exchange. Trace this disappearing. A touch in the park. Yes, I'll follow. Yes, we'll lead together, and sometimes me first. They look up to the blue. It's hard to believe this moment exists. Crack of a heartbeat, switch directions. Can I trust this? Impossible is my favorite kind of love. They're these midday delighters. Exhibit B, They Three. To put her bare feet in Central Park, dip toes in seamless fountain water, create ripples in layers of temperature, to watch those lovebirds in spring, thoughts possess, and an empty bedside, a cavernous decade. There is no timeline on grief. Wind through tall grass, vibrations calm her inner serpents. There, this executive fallen queen. Currents, salt mixing an ocean. He watches that technicolor radiance in spiderweb formations. He waves it on past. He used to be somebody. His life, stability, humanity for his brain, depowering, powering off. a breakdown and everything breaks. A rumbling belly, there, this homeless physicist. The collective instruments, these sculptures of dazzling blaze, biting down on aluminum that buzz, stuckness in his head, staring out window at rain, exits into showers, lying flat, cement, staring up, removing glasses, hoping for a look straight into a drop, entering brain, washing for inspiration. There, this breathless composer. There, they three want washed clear. They want a redo, restart, tired of the slow, consistent ache, cold skeletal hunger and flaking body skin. Try to remember the last time they felt human, like they too love birds in spring. A passageway through multitude dimensions, cosmic force rays fly in and out in knots. We are everywhere, our particles shared over again. This happened before, and it's all for first time, like twisted cotton sheets. Together, look into sky, a stare into black ocean. Thoughts possess, and in moment, the same moment, each head snaps up, see each other's faces from forever distance, wondering, who is that? Empathy in a ballroom, swapping partners. We've been here before, and we are the most special, unique individuals ever there was. Whale songs, sliding through scales at new octaves, a universe of composers find heat together. Our ubiquitous sonic nature, our molecules blending, they three are reaching, dreaming of absence, of stillness. What happens if it ends? If they don't have to return to the drudgery tomorrow, a magic relief? If they disappear into fog, will they be missed? Would anyone call them back? If a violent act ripped them out of life right now, then each look up, look out, look down, seeing through eye clouds, connection in a faraway human. I see you. I know you. Things are hard right now, but you'll make it, I promise. You'll get through the earth. Touch in the park. Yes, I'll follow.
Thanks, y'all. That's an instrumental piece behind that called Sparky 2. There is no Sparky 1. Do not ask about Sparky 1. That's available on CD, or your friendly internet provider also has it. So I see no reason why you shouldn't have a CD if you want one. So talk to us. And remind me the name of that poem again.
Mix of mix-ups, mixing up an oral collision.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Which was created, inspired by you
Yeah.
and your radio show when
Yeah.
you hosted the V3, and Thomas was creating a mixtape
Yeah.
of a bunch of different artists to make work for and distribute.
Yeah. How did that ever turn out?
I don't know.
Oh. I'll have to look into that.
It's still in
Yeah,
in
yeah.
process.
It's still in progress.
So how do those two layers of this poem and this instrumental piece, like what's the process of deciding today we're going to layer these two in particular?
We were matching up sort of general vibe, but also length.
Yeah, time.
Time-wise.
It's a longer one.
Yeah. And that's one of the longer songs on our instrumental album. So we thought it would pair up, and it turns out that the words and the music they do match up pretty well, I think, to most eyes and ears. So
I think one thing that's fun is not stressing too hard about do these actually match
Yeah.
up as we're starting to figure it out, kind of like John Cage and Merce Cunningham creating work separately and then coming together and seeing like, does this actually
Yeah.
make something?
Yeah.
Well, it blurs those lines. It's interesting because I was just thinking about, hearing your stage direction
Right,
and then
right.
hearing your poetry and thinking, okay, why is this the play and this is the poem? And then you add, this piece of music underneath, and I was like, well, why is this not called a song? It's a poem over,
Yeah.
It is, but it
Yes,
also
yeah.
isn't because of the way that it's been created.
That's good.
Yeah.
Blurry lines between these little forms that we've decided are the different ways to express
I
ourselves.
love blurry lines.
Yeah. That's good stuff. Cool.
Good stuff.
Should we take a little break?
Yeah.
Let's freshen our drinks and
Yeah.
meet back up in 5 or 10.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Sounds good.
Just say thank you so much for the first half. A round of applause about that. And I didn't thank them before, but the volunteers here are huge. And food and drink, and we've got restrooms down the hall on the back side over there in the corner, and CDs, chapbooks or anything like that out there. No.
You can find our email
Alright.
list if you want to keep up to date on when we're doing fun things like this.
Great. So yeah, just like 5-ish minutes and. Off the stage and give Jessica a chance to sort of speak to some Radio Boise things, but I guess that's being one thing at the end. We'll announce next month's stuff, but what's going on here?
So I'm Jessica Evans. I'm the general manager of Radio Boise, and just thank you all for coming. So this is, I think, the fourth?
Third here.
The third year. So we just took over this new space.
What's it called?
It is now called the Radio Boise Backstage. So keep an eye out for January. Our plan with this space too is to host various things like with our Radio Boise Tuesday performances that go on here, having special performances in here for our monthly donors and our hi-fi members. So a chance to kind of catch performers doing a special set. We had Jerry Joseph last month. That was great. And really we see this space as a great way to connect with our listeners, people who are unfamiliar with Radio Boise, that sense of community here in this space. We couldn't really do it, tried, and it to a degree was a success in our current in-studio, our live room, but this really does allow us to connect with more people in this space. So thank you very much for coming. So yeah, keep enjoying, and there will be more to come, not just couch surfers, but a whole lot of other things in this space. So thank you all for making it possible.
All right. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. So I want to get back to this idea of songs in plays, which is different than, there are plays with songs and there are musicals. This is not musical theater. This is like a song that is part of a play to help tell that particular story. But again, how did these two layers end up connecting with this particular piece?
Yeah, so this one it's just called Agnes's Song because it's a song that one of the characters in the play Cloud Melt that was aired here on Radio Boise a couple of months ago created for his wife long before he died, but then when he comes back to life briefly as a young woman, a young African American woman, he's trying to convince his 70-plus-year-old a Caucasian wife from before he was dead that he's the same person he was, and so he's using this song to do that. And so he never made a title for the song. He just wrote it himself as a guy that likes songs.
It was a song that only the two of them knew. Then she meets a stranger who starts singing it, and
Yeah.
I won't spoil the rest of the story. You have to go listen to it.
And so in this one, this was much more collaborative between the two of us. I think I some ideas of the lyrics and then maybe like had some ideas of melody, just like churning out a lot of ideas, and then you really helped to craft and write what became the music for it.
Yeah. I think that you had something in mind of like a da 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 da.
Right, and a tone maybe.
Yeah, just kind of a general
genre.
feel, and then I could just kind of see the way that the words could fit in that da 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 da. So we came out with this. We good? Starting in on the 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Tell us again how we can hear that whole thing, the whole play.
Go onto a SoundCloud link through Radio Boise's SoundCloud link, right?
SoundCloud.com/Radio.
Yeah, it's also on my website. If you dig down into the AV section, then you can click on and hear it that way. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. I want to get back to this thing that we did before the break where we're layering poetry and music. Part of what's interesting to me about that is that it's not, there's a lot left to chance in the way that these things unfold. There's a little bit of, attention paid. You can see last time Thomas sort of watching the page, seeing to some degree.
A little, yeah.
But it's not put together in the same way like a song.
Yeah.
And the way that the little synchronicities reveal themselves when we do that. So can we do some more of those and talk about them?
That's great.
Which one is this one? Oh,
so
yeah.
we'll start with Poor Monster, is the name of it.
Great.
Over Billy's Lullaby. Arizona heat, the overwatered grass, and me falling out the dining hall, holding my head. all about who had it worst. Some days I won. That day I won. I won so hard they feared me. Me, this wild beast who feared me most of all. Poor monster. Frankensteinian struggle, wrestling voice and body and thought. I get him. I get the monster. Hey, I understand you, monster. Wandering the globe for your father. I keep looking for mine too. For 10 years I looked for him. In other men, 100 beds. Every canvas explored. Memory pressure fills my forehead like a zit, too much to say. When I taste my skin, I taste teeth. When my face peels off, my vision blurs. Still learning how to walk, my brain a rabid hyena. I heard shrieking banshees and tremored in school. Swore shadow people came for my neck, wanting my blood. Checked out of class like a hotel. Couldn't read anymore. Can't explain away shadow people. So I reach into dark. Pull out a mudslide. Running knife in hand off a cliff to howling water. Facing the sun. Wishing, always wishing my body, brain fit together. So I wasn't, always wasn't, tearing me up.
I have this, I think about just adding music to anything just makes it sort of beautiful and meaningful.
An airport.
Right? Yeah, anything. And then with those, there's some good stuff to unpack. I could listen to that all day. Thank you. That's so lovely.
Right.
Nice work. That poem's got some,
Yeah, some monsters.
some monsters, some dark little corners in it,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
So talk to me about writing poetry, specifically poetry, as like how much of your writing time do you think you end up saying, in that place where you think this is a poem, not a play?
Yeah, I almost never start out writing thinking this is going to be a poem or this is going to be this. I just I've been doing a writing practice from the mind of Natalie Goldberg for the last 10 plus years. Was really such a life-saving thing as far as what is writing physically and how do I just get everything out. So a lot of things come up that way. There's sometimes that I'll have, there's maybe a theme or something that I want to work with or an image or something, and then working with it again and again, it'll churn out into this idea of there's stuff here, and so I'll go back and I'll underline parts that feel like they fit, usually creating way more content or quantity and to narrow down to a very slim amount of sometimes quality, and I feel like that's always it's again, like I said before, in that playwriting class mentality, there's such a freeing mentality of just getting everything out for me in that, which I think that a lot of poets may not feel. A lot of poets might be bound in structure a little bit more and all the different kinds of poems, but because I don't really identify as a poet, Or like the same thing as if I'm writing a short story where I'm not identifying as a fiction writer like Christian Wynn might, then I feel like I have so much more, just like everything is possible because I don't know all the rules, and so that's nice. Whereas for a play, it takes a lot more reflection and like a lot of things and images and characters or questions. A lot of questions come up first. What am I trying to uncover? And then over a while of like back in the head pre-writing and then just like working out what's interesting to me. I guess it's longer the process.
Yeah.
That's all.
I mean, you're so. It feels like there's never a shortage of possibilities with words, but then to edit and bring it back down to the thing to try to find its sort of heart is going to be a piece of it for you.
And I think that there's a lot of joy of like the unleashing of everything.
Yeah.
But especially as I've found in plays specifically, that editing process, or at least like that revising process, once that first draft is down, I feel so much better. Like, oh, now I can like figure out what I actually want to say and what this actually is. But for the first bout of clay, I can feel a lot like this hurts so much. Like I don't know what's happening. It's this churning of. Sometimes it feels like just trying to pull oatmeal out of my, or like cornflakes out of my veins or something, or like picking out blackheads or something. That's the process of that first draft. But then it's much easier after that.
That's good. Thank you for that.
Sorry.
No, it's good. I love it. That's great. How much, I wonder about, because you're a prolific writer in terms of the, like when you're working on a thing, the words, it feels like there's just a lot there, which is super compelling to me. In music, how does it feel to you, Thomas, when you're putting together a piece of music, like all of this instrumental stuff? And I want to know a little bit more about the album of instrumental work. But is it there's addition and subtraction? Is there more of one or the other? Do you go too far in music sometimes and have to pare it back down, or is it really adding?
We talk about it. We
talk about it. Yeah.
Keep adding until it's done.
Some have said that, like, oh, you can't write a 3-chord song, but I think those songs from the plays are evidence that we could write 3-chord songs. I could write a 3-chord song if somebody else does half of it for me. The instrumental album was 2 albums ago in 2016. It came out called winkingly titled Sing-Alongs, and we're hopefully going to do a Sing-Alongs part 2 soon, but we started it out as like an immersive live recording project, and I sort of thought I would add vocals later, but it just sounded good on its own, and I like instrumental music a lot. I like film music a lot. I like classical and jazz. Some of my favorite people and artists of all time are singers, but sometimes I just don't want to hear it. I'd like to joke that sometimes I don't care about your problems right now, Mr. Singer Guy, and that applies to me as well. Sometimes I don't want, can we talk without words once in a while? So these guys are so good with the words, though. It makes me think I gotta catch up. But I had a whole album of no words, and I felt like if you liked the song, you could make up your words, and then those could be the words to the song. So check it out. Check out the album and send me your lyrics. And thank you in advance for that. Yeah, I just really like instrumental music, and we were trying to force this album to have lyrics, and finally I was like, no, I'm not forcing anything. These songs are good enough on their own, and the only thing that makes them sound better is having a nice poem over the top, which is better than like trying to force yourself, because some songs don't want to go like verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus, guitar solo, outro, big drum fill. Like some songs don't want to be that. They want to be a chill lullaby with a poem over it, or a chill lullaby period, no poem at all, and the poem is whatever you're thinking when you hear it. So, and also I was having an insane amount of writer's block, so that also was true. I just decided to not
Yeah.
write lyrics.
Well, I love that work. I think it engages our brains in a different way. When you add words, we have to pay a different kind of attention, and the experience of hearing them under the poetry is really beautiful. Or the poetry, I don't need to create hierarchy by way of layer metaphors, but
It's true.
because I love that work, that album, and the way that it can add. I was,
Let me,
often imagine the possibility of actually having a soundtrack in my life. How much more interesting it would be.
Yeah.
So what are you doing?
Let me demonstrate a thing using humor as a weapon as to what I was trying to avoid with the instrumental album.
Yeah.
Baby, 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 oh yeah. Okay? Which one's better, with or without? Instrumentals are fine.
There are a lot of different kinds of writer's block.
Yeah.
That one, I see that.
You can see why I was a little stuck. I was a little stuck there. All I could think of was baby and oh yeah. So,
That's great.
I'll hope to make another instrumental album soon.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that's all. They don't need vocals all the time.
And that's a kind of writing too.
Yeah.
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 Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can we hear another one?
Yeah, great.
Poem?
Poem. This is
Poem.
called Whiplash with
Oh yeah.
Look
Yeah. Yeah.
as the music.
Okay.
Veins run body length. Barracudas stem tree spines. Brainwaves beep catastrophe. Seizures abandon hearts. Lick a battery. Throat pipe tells me bite my lip. Jump out window. Bark 2 stories. Red-cheeked electrodes tingle feet. Hot air balloon shrieking in fire. City on fire. Ocean on fire. Hopeful expression, sincere reflection, the news. Open gum, stop pretending you know better. I don't know numbers. Bold head, pig head, bald face, shut pores. Escape blackheads in black face, find tongues lashing. Holding dad's rehab hand, snoring first sleep all day. Nerves sting jellyfish, crawl under skin, groan under seat, burning gas. I don't want him to die. I'd rather walk to Sweden.
You may have noticed me singing during that instrumental. Because I think the voice can just be an instrument until I start to use words, right? So like ooh is instrumental, but baby, 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 oh yeah, is not. Anyway, these are the kinds of things I think about.
What are the rules?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. So, how about a song with actual lyrics intended for the song?
Whew.
That's
all order.
Yeah.
The last album only has 1.5 instrumentals on it, so I think for words people it's pretty good. I was pretty stuck on this one. I had a cool series of musical things happening, but I just had an image of a person sort of going off grid. Maybe it's like a post-apocalyptic sort of Mad Max type scene, or pre-post-apocalyptic Mad Max, or I wasn't really sure on that, but just kind of a vague idea of a person kind of going off grid. perhaps in Australia, New Zealand-y, but again, just sort of plain. And I had a couple of stanzas, but I was really stuck. And I was able to finish the song with Heidi's help. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do remember.
What was the process like for you?
Well, I didn't remember any of this post-apocalyptic, pre-apocalyptic
I don't think I
stuff,
told
and
you. I
that's
didn't want
really
to
fascinating.
influence.
This is very different from what I heard. So I think that I was listening to the music a lot,
Yeah.
and the instrumentals of it. I was, and I think we even started back in 2013 when we were first working on it, right?
Yeah.
And then we revisited it. So I think I created a bunch of material.
Yeah.
That you looked at and said, like, oh, this is interesting, and we talked about it, and then we put that away for some years.
Several years.
And then revisiting again a couple years ago or last year,
Yeah.
and figuring out, like, well, so with all of this content, and then maybe some other poems that, like, of my ocean of material that
Yeah.
I'm never going to use, like, what's inside there that's worth looking at. And so
Yeah.
I think that you were, like, picking,
Yeah.
almost collaging,
Yeah.
it felt like. So it was
exactly.
like this content of words that you're finding, like, what is this? And it's really interesting hearing what the story is.
She's
now.
generous enough to let me sort of sift through like piles of raw material
That's great,
and
yeah.
find the words and phrases that I liked. And I've never been a real like linear storytelling songwriter. This happened, then this happened, then that happened, the end. Like that's just not my thing. It's much more of an impressionistic thing, so it worked really well.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy with how it turned out. It it might be the best song on the latest album, but am I forgetting anything about
That
it?
sounds
right?
Sounds it.
This is Teresa. Teresa, my grace into the desert. She to it too, but it requires drums, and we didn't want to do that to you guys. You're nice.
How can we
Shorten it.
How can we hear the version with the drums
Oh
on?
yeah, well, Nowhere Anywhere was out January 4th, 2019.
That's right.
And it's available at fine retailers near you and also online. Bandcamp. thomaspaul.bandcamp.com.
And on the table app.
And on that table.
Yeah, that's right.
And by fine retailers, I mean the Record Exchange only. That's the only fine retailer.
Well, you talk about sounds having, like, vocal sounds being instrumental, but sometimes words can be too.
Yeah.
Like, there's the percussive feel of so many of those words. I think that's something that we talked about and thought about a lot through as, like, what are the sounds of each word that I was lucky to think about more here than, and I like to think about in poetry too, and also in playwriting, but hearing, like what do they sound like and what do they feel like in the texture, and I feel like so much of all of your lyrical work in your music, it's a whole part of the whole instrument, right? It's not just like, this is my meaning, or this is the message I'm trying to send. It's much more about
I'm absolutely
watching us.
a songwriter that is just hearing a melody and is using words to catch it and hold on to it.
Yeah.
It's rarely starting with words first, almost never. So yeah, I'm usually just like, oh, the da 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 da. I need some words here. La 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 la. Something should go here. Otherwise, it's really just kind of sounds like math. Da 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 da. Some words here. So yeah, I'm just trying to say something other than notes, you know. So words are good for that, I think.
Yeah.
So we're at bird sounds.
Yeah.
What was the was it an image or a word or a thought or a relationship or a character that led to this new short piece of yours called Lift?
Yeah. I feel like that was mostly an image,
Yeah.
and so we were driving home from eastern Idaho, where some of Thomas's family is going through some hard stuff, and on that drive, I had an image of a woman flying away with a balloon and befriending an albatross. And I think that's really, and then I was like, how does this happen? What's going on between them? And what's she dealing with? Like, all the questions that have to be asked to figure out who characters are, who people are, why is he here? Why is she here? What are they doing? What's going on with her? And how can they help each other? I guess that was, it was one of those car ride ideas. I hear that Steven Spielberg gets all of his ideas on his long LA drives.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That was a nice version of that, I guess. Yeah.
Let's share it, shall we?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Are you ready, Eric? Ready for your big break? Shall I?
Yeah.
Lift by Heidi Kraay. The troposphere high above the Pacific Ocean between California and Japan. Kit, 50s, alone, holding a blue helium balloon. The balloon lifts her up, up, up. She is very high up. Her heels are lifted, her toes stretched down. Occasional wind blows her this way, that. She enjoys the ride, looking down, grinning. Sometimes she gets spooked by her height and laughs like she's filled with helium, at which point she closes her eyes, looks ahead, looks up. The balloon carries her up, farther, higher. Occasionally one arm gets tired and she trades it for the other. She embraces the quiet, the view, aloneness. She lets out a long, content sigh, but gets a wave of body pain. She holds the balloon with both hands and breathes the pain away. Kilani enters, soaring past Kit, who watches him. Kilani glances at her in passing and then does a double take, turning around just before gliding out of view to study Kit, circling her. Unlike Kit holding her balloon, Kilani can't stay still and is always circling, gliding, turning.
Hello?
Hi.
You're a strange-looking bird.
You're a talking bird,
All birds talk.
but I understand you.
I don't understand you. What are you?
Human, what are you?
What are you doing up here?
Is it the altitude? Is that why I can hear you?
Is it that thing?
Is it the
you're
morphine?
holding?
I'm hallucinating. I must be. Right?
That's a morphine
This is my balloon.
balloon.
It's a special balloon.
Does it hatch giant blue birds?
No, it's magic. The man on the street asked my last wish, and when I said to fly, he handed me this. Been floating ever since.
How long?
An hour, minutes. I lost my sense of time up here, though my arms are starting to feel it.
Well, I've been out here most of my life. That must be longer than you.
It's not a contest.
Everything's a contest.
Are you an albatross?
You heard of me?
Well, no, but I know a bit about birds. You must be far from home.
I am. I'm looking for my mate.
Did you lose her?
I haven't met her yet. But she's special. And she knows I'm special because of the great things I've done.
Oh, like what?
I haven't done them yet. But when I do, she won't resist me. And we'll be together all our days.
Wouldn't you have more luck finding her over the ocean?
Huh?
Don't albatrosses spend most of their time at sea?
We are at sea.
No, we're just above California.
Calif-
A state in the U.S.? North America? It's a large mass of land, and California's inside it. We're close to sea, but I don't live anywhere near a beach. I'm afraid you won't find many albatrosses nearby.
I'm afraid you're not where you think you are.
I know. I'm high up for a human, but
A few islands beyond the horizon, but no mainland in sight.
that can't be.
Oh, it is. I may be young, but
I just lifted off from the street corner. How could...
windy up here.
How high up am I? Oh God, is that... I'm surrounded by blue. Blue above, blue below, my balloon is blue. Oh shit!
Hey, stay calm. You'll lose your grip.
Kit holds her balloon with both hands. For the first time, she grips tightly for her life. Her body seizes up in pain. She breathes it away.
My friends and I can help you down.
What friends?
Well, I can find them. We'll take you to the island. Even further, maybe, to
California. God, this is one hell of a balloon.
I'll get my friends. Stay here.
No, wait. Do you have a name?
Kalani.
Kalani, I do need your help, but I can't go back down.
Why?
The pain returns, the worst so far. Kit seizes up, but tries to hide it. Breathing doesn't help much.
What's wrong with you?
Kit gets control of the pain. Her arms are getting very tired. She grips on tighter.
Do you know cancer? Well, I'm sick. Very sick. It's not contagious, but I don't have long. I'm dying. And when I found out how bad it's gotten and that it won't get better, I didn't call my wife or my family. I left the hospital, took a morphine tablet, took a walk, met a street performer. He asked me what I wanted. He handed me this balloon.
Been floating ever since.
I know my Ruth's worried sick. I've been through this before. Surgeries, treatment, gotten better, worse. This third time back, I progressed so fast, and I see the end. No use fighting. Could be months, weeks, an awful year, and I'm tired of the pain. I want my family to move on, enjoy their lives, and I thought if I went high up, I could come down fast and hard, and it would all be over.
Kit lets go with one arm, testing her courage. Kalani watches her, soaring, circling. They watch each other.
Is that what you want?
I don't know. I don't like any of my options. Ruth would kill me if we make that joke a lot.
I don't get it.
It's not funny.
I'll go get help. You wait here. Decide what you want.
Don't leave me.
I won't be long.
I don't want to be alone anymore. At first it was nice. I didn't have anyone to answer to, be anyone's patience.
Well, I'll be right back. I'm very
Take me
fast.
with you.
Okay.
Kilani takes Kit's balloon string in his beak. They fly.
You're very strong.
You're very light. Most days I'm faster.
Not everything's a contest. So much water. I don't want to go down there.
We'll take you to land.
I don't want to go down at all.
Even I go down eventually.
What if I go up? Kept going higher. Higher and higher till I couldn't go anymore? What an adventure that would be. How high can you go, Kalani?
Not much higher than this, I'm afraid.
Pity.
But we're not far from the crane skies. Not the highest flyers, but close. We keep on to sunset, we'll reach their winter zones.
Cranes go high?
But if they take you as high as they go, air gets thin. You won't survive.
That's what I want.
Then off we go.
A dance flight between them, traveling great distance. Kit keeps switching arms.
We've gone so far, Kalani. Aren't your wings tired?
Nothing for an albatross.
Kit feels great pain. She breathes it away.
I've taken you from your mission, haven't I, for a mate?
Short-tailed albatrosses know how scary death is. Not many of us left. It's an honor to help you.
You are special.
I know.
Do you think my Ruth knows I'm sorry to leave her and not say goodbye?
I don't know.
I hope she knows.
They keep flying. Kit's arms burn.
How much farther?
Not much.
I can't hold on much longer.
Almost there.
A flock of cranes. They are many. They are beautiful, majestic, grand. Their gliding tempo is slow but powerful.
Is that
The
them?
cranes.
Kilani speaks to them in an untranslatable language of sound and gesture.
They will take you.
What did you say to them? I couldn't understand.
The cranes lift up Kit.
I asked them to lift you up. Crane's difficult speech, even for an albatross.
Come with me?
Can't go higher. I'll watch you soar as long as I can.
The cranes continue squawking and honking. Kit dances in their grasp. She holds her balloon lightly. She no longer needs it.
Kalani, will you take this?
What for?
Give it to your mate?
Really?
Tell her you helped me. She'll know how special you are.
I will. I will. She won't resist me now.
Thank you, Kalani.
Kit gets a wave of pain. Kalani touches Kit's head with his own. Kit strokes his face goodbye.
Bye, Kit.
The cranes take Kit higher and higher, toward the sun by buzzing planes. They may keep squawking and honking. Kalani soars away with the balloon. Kit lies back on the cranes. Breathing gets hard, the pain too much. But she's dazzled by all she sees. It gets brighter and brighter until...
The sun!
Last breaths. The cranes float her away. Quiet now. Lights. End of play.
Yeah.
Thanks for helping me with that.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
All you. Yeah.
Lovely. So, what happens with that now?
Yeah. So it's gotten a reading, and it's just like everything else. I've done the long submission process,
Yeah.
and, well, hopefully something great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
It's one of those things like we were talking about your stage directions at the top, where there's so much invention required to figure out how you would stage something like that. You know, it's an exciting challenge
Oh,
for
good,
somebody.
yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
Thanks.
Before we're done, I want to make sure we talk a little bit about stuff that you guys have coming up. But do we want to do we have time to get one more song in before
Uh,
we go?
Maybe we close out with another instrumental,
Yeah.
if we have time. Thanks for letting me narrate that.
That's so great. Thank
That's
you.
my first
You were
time being the
awesome.
narrator of a play since like 1982.
It's your next calling.
Children's World of Learning.
You're so good at it.
It was fun. I only messed up twice. This is another song off Sing-Alongs. It's called 19, and it is not about, well, it's about cribbage. About cribbage, it takes place in a game of cribbage. That's Eric DeWitt on saxophone and keys. Eric DeWitt. Mr. Bob Nagel on bass.
So, where and when in the near future can we experience your work together or individually?
I have if you know anyone in Austin next week, then I've got a short play that's being performed there at a company, and I can get you details on that. This great company called Trinity Street Players, and they have a lot of holiday plays happening. And then in January, that first beginning of a play you heard me read, See in the Dark, is getting a full reading through Homegrown Theatre. I believe that's January 28th. Yeah, and then we're doing something together in February on the 16th.
Another Sunday night party.
At Ming Studios. Yeah, at 7 o'clock. Yeah.
It says here, can't go into detail.
We can't.
Super secret.
We were told not to discuss like what the performances are going to be, but then we've witnessed other artists doing it. But
I like rules.
yeah, she is a good kid. I'm a jaywalker. Like, watch out. We're gonna do a Ramones song at the Egyptian Theater for Curtis Steiger's Extreme Holiday Extravaganza, and then
Which song?
It's called Merry Christmas. I Don't Want to Fight Tonight.
With tomorrow.
It's just a Ramones song that happens to have Christmas in it, but I mean, you could call it a Christmas song. Our thing is we were very fortunate to be asked to do those events at the Egyptian. It's a really fun time and a dream come true to play that room, but we try to not repeat a song. We never want to play the same song, so we try to come up with a new song every year. Whereas a lot of the other people on the program play the exact same song every year, and that's good. That's good for them, but I don't have the attention span for that. We're gonna do the Ming Thing on Sunday, February 16th with Heidi.
And then we've got something on the 28th of February.
On February 28th, we're gonna have a Leap Year's Eve party at the Gem Center for the Arts. We'll have some new songs in time for that.
It's another birthday show, like your first one, right?
Oh yeah, kinda. Yeah, that's true. Good point. Yeah.
Evil glare.
No, I forgot.
When is your birthday?
My birthday is Friday, February 28th, and it's a Leap Year's Eve party because I spend a lot of my time explaining to people how the leap year works, and so I'm throwing myself a party to celebrate that. And who knows? Maybe Tree Fort, maybe not. It depends. If Bob wants us to do it, we'll do it. He's in charge. Yeah, that gets us started into 2020 though.
Yeah.
You have another thing in April?
Yeah, in April, See in the Dark is having a stage reading for 2 days at BSU. They've been kind enough to give us that space for that week. Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's it.
Well, thank you, all of you.
Mr. Matthew Campbell.
And thanks everyone for being here. What a great night. Thanks Christian for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us.
It's wonderful. And this is always, I don't know, this is an intimate, sort of experience with the music and the writing and the conversation, and it's just a constant reminder of like the serious talent we have in this community. Like, motherfuckers are all about it. Good. That was the play reading was that was great. Fine narration too.
Thank you. I've been practicing.
Yeah, so I continue the conversation out in the foyer out here with
What's
one of the world's best 1980s, remaining 1980s elevators. I don't know. So
as a fan of this series, what's next month?
Next month is Katie Young, and she's going to be, who you've worked with a bunch, who's a great poet, nonfiction writer. She's going to be the moderator, and Mary Pauline Lowry, who's a novelist lived in Austin once, so she probably has some friends down there.
Cool.
So, and then Anna Lette. So the three of them Anna's the musician. So, the second Sunday of the month, which I think is the 12th, right? I believe so.
It's right in there somewhere.
Right in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So, but it's gonna be here, same spot, the backstage, now officially, deemed, and so we'll spread the word on all that. But man, really a great night.
Anna's one of my favorite
I was gonna say,
young
is I call
up
her
and coming
Anna, is it
musicians.
Anna?
She told me Anna Letta, which
Well,
is
Wayne told me Anna Lette.
see.
Either
Way, she's one of my favorite young
correct me,
musicians.
so-
Everyone recommend her
Yeah,
greatly.
I listen to a bunch of her music, but I don't
It's
know how to pronounce her name.
really unique. Really unique stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks to all the volunteers.
Yes, absolutely. And we're gearing up for some cool things. Storyford and Treeford and Radio Boise will have a lot of events down here in this space during the festival, which is sadly, wonderfully not far away. All right. Well, have a good night.
Thanks.
Thanks.